So once I heard from those individuals that, you know what, it's probably better to, you know, maybe not go, because from here to there we have to use airline, right? Um, and they already know what's up, because every time I go through the thing, I already get the pulled in the back, check the bags, see the books and all that type of stuff. That's regular. Um, but the heebie-jeebies, that definitely had me in that place of listening. If it's real flesh, being there in person isn't really going to be, you know, an issue or a non-issue, because we're dealing with people who have a certain mindset with regard to this. Um, but what I will say is, make sure you adhere to the street, because there's going to be any more over the airwaves. There's lectures going on. And either you're going to get the direct link that is going on, and forefathers and foremothers for real. Prior to this, we were in all the different schools of thought, you know, studying from all the different schools of thought, but none of them taught this perspective of, you know, actually going and doing the correcting of your name, correcting of your status, correcting of your mindset, etc. Majority of them have adopt a name, but it doesn't just stop there. There's no actual, like Brother Abdullah always talks about, there's no political activity with them being this new individual, right? Or reclaimed individual. So one of the things I noticed that made a benefit, one thing for sure was taxes. Not paying taxes to these foreigners. That's the main thing. Because as with the mindset of Negro, Black, colored, a lot of things get bypassed. You know, you don't look at it as inquisition activity. So when we start getting into this information and start studying, you start finding certain things. It's like new worlds open up to you. You know, one of the other things that nationality has done was made me eliminate the racist mindset, because in the, you know, African Black, you know, conscious whatever mindset, you always have this chip on your shoulder. Somebody owes us something for something they did to us. But then when you get into wearing your fez, wearing your turban, going out into the world, and people are actually giving you honors, you look the same. All you have is a fez or a turban on, but you look the same. You're the same individual. You know, Moors even have this story of, you know, going to a store one day without their fez, then the other day with a fez, they get treated totally different. And they're the same individual. You know what I mean? So I've always looked at the benefit from the spiritual aspect first. You know, because I've always felt that the spiritual lessons are really what make us through life, even when we were in the Black, colored. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we had like when we were in the Black mindset, we had a ritual that we would call purple flame, where, you know, before we get behind the wheel, because everybody was driving without licenses and all that type of stuff. Before you get behind the wheel, you do your little outside of the car ritual, get in the car, and then you visualize the car being inflamed with purple fire. And then from studying, purple protection cup. So it was really just so that, you know, when we go out there, you know, we don't get stopped. And Gary, I mean, another aspect was the Europeans. How we look at Europeans. There's a brother by the name of ATS. He's actually a brother in the More Lives Matter, the second artist in the More Lives Matter song. He's Greek, right? Back in the day, he was that one European that was always with the brothers. But he was never looked at like a European because he was just different. He used to DJ, break bands, do all the stuff that the brothers did or whatever. So when we got into the info, he was one of the first people that was like, yo, you know what, man, that stuff is real, and telling us about Greek history and Etruscans, and, you know, there's people in Greece were dark people and whatever. So we had a trip where we went to, we were going to Adwo a month or something, and we were late, so we were flying on the highway, and then we got pulled over. And the highway that pulled us over was a European or whatever, you know, so we were just there. My brother was driving, and brother KTS was in the passenger seat. From back in the day, that's the European. Anytime there's a European or whatever, don't worry, everybody just let him deal with it.
Yes.
Probably gonna go in our favor if he do. So, dude right there, you know, he's giving us this, you know, his attitude, whatever. You guys are speeding or whatever like that. I'm gonna give you guys tickets or whatever. Dude gives us the tickets. But before he gave us the tickets, he was telling us, you know, the directions. Well, why are you guys going this way and whatever like that. Then brother KTF stepped in and was telling them, you know, it's not our fault, and, you know, he was giving them the little European to European, right? Like it was literally the European to European conversation. We're just sitting there watching this thing go down. And dude said, you know what? It was like a $300 ticket or something. He's like, you know what? I'll just give you guys a $25 ticket, be careful or whatever like that, go about your way. You know what I mean? Now, you know, again, with the Moorish mindset, you know, the $25 ticket, you know, it's $7, and, you know, we're in the conveyance, we got fezzes up and all that type of stuff. So we're already looking at it on a level of, okay, these Europeans know what the hell's up. Ain't no way you're dropping a 300 ticket to 25. It could have been 30, it could have been, you know, 10, 18, could have been any number. The fact that you give 25, you're letting us know something, you know? And that wouldn't, like, he wouldn't even been on the trip if we were of the Negro mindset or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, we specifically brought him because we wanted him to be the one to tell the Negroes out there how real it is. You know what I mean? So it's always looked at from the spiritual perspective. I had if we go into the earth plane stuff, exercising right to travel. So we put this out there before, but
And that was for you? The cable?
yeah.
All right.
So you see up here it says Her Majesty the Queen,
Yep.
right? Versus Kevin S. McCletchy. That's the name that I was born with.
Yep.
Right? Now this is their transcript. And then these were all the charges, because when I was exercising right to travel and they pulled me over, their whole thing was, you know, you can't do this, and they were mad because they America, they were trying to tell me Canada's its own country and all this crazy stuff. Right? They were trying to say the continental flag is the flag of Lebanon, and this isn't Lebanon, why are you flying that flag, and all this craziness. So these are all the charges right here that they gave me tickets for. But then it was interesting that when they talked about the appearances at the bottom, they were talking about explanation. If you see that right there. Right? Kudjo explanation the straw name not written on a straw, right? Again, if we're looking at, we're saying that we're Moors in order to get out of something, then you're not gonna really get what is going on, right? I already had, prior to this, I had an incident where I, again, not listening to the higher forces talking. So I had I had no license. And I think there was insurance on it. I think there was no license, plates expired, but I had insurance or whatever. So it was during rush hour. I was going to work. I got pulled over by the department out here called Ontario Provincial Police. So that's the police that say state troopers. They only do it the highway. You never see them on the road or whatever like that. They're only on the highway. So pulled me over, and this was the first time getting pulled over with actually saying that, well, they pulled me over right now because of the expired license, guaranteed they're going to tow the car. So I was like, you know what, forget that. I'm going to give them the nationality paperwork and the right to travel paperwork or whatever. I had always carried it in the glove, but I never used it. If I got stopped, I'm going to give these guys the freaking paperwork. So give them the paperwork or whatever. Even had it, what's this? I don't know what this is or whatever like that. I was back to his ride. I'm going to basically, we're going to have to deal with this off the highway because this is a public road nation, so we need to go right. So shut the highway down. Made me whatever, like, go to the parking lot, pull up the car, Hindustani. And, he was saying, because before, what's going on? This is whatever. So I break down everything to them. The men start showing up or whatever. Crowd is starting to build around. Everybody, looking at the black guy situation and something's about to happen or whatever like that. These guys come, they get the paperwork, read the paperwork, realize what it is, and the rest of the highwaymen leave. The one that pulled me, after everybody jumped, he came back, gave me a pink paper, and he said, tell the driver that his license is expired. Right? Now these are the guys up from the municipal police. So we're taking what they're saying as, well, they gotta obviously know or whatever. You know what I mean? So that is what made me see how real the nationality aspect is. Because again, if I would have given the license, they would have played well, it's expired, and then the plates are, we got to take your plates because those are expired, and then your license, and would affect people differently. Everybody's not gonna have my situation happen. Everybody's not gonna have your situation happen. Majority of people, when they come into this, they come into it from the aspect of get something. I'm gonna be a more so I can whatever, opposed to I'm more, and whatever happens after that is happening because of some situation that you got, and now you're saying that you're a more, but majority of the appreciation that I have for knowing Moorish nationality and proclaiming my nationality is really spirit first. So that eliminates, 60% of the people, who are looking for the answer that, oh, well, it's because I get to do right to travel now, or I get to not pay taxes, or I get to whatever. That's not what I look at nationality as from the jump, because we were metaphysicians, occultists, and all that before we got. So we're talking about spirit world, and that spirit world opened up way more nationality and birthright than opposed to whatever, you know.
And earlier, when you started speaking, you spoke about political activity and not paying taxes. I was just wondering if you can elaborate more on those two subjects real quick.
So brother Adwo makes uses the example of the other conscious people who would say that they are whatever it is that they are, but then they don't have anything to prove that that's who they are. You know what I mean? So, you know, the political activity and that aspect is, you know, going through the nationality process, putting these people on notice, having some type of situation with these foreigners, with these inquisitionists, that you can stand on your square and get a response, whether positive, negative, what doesn't matter, right? The point that you're standing on your square against these people is really what the threat is for them, because they're usually in some docile position or some angry black man position, right? It's never, you know, intelligence and competence from people like us. So when they engage that, it definitely throws them off. And with regard to the taxes, we're just talking about regular purchases, go to a store or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Yo, sorry, we're exempt from taxes. You know, sometimes I get a bag. Sometimes the thing runs so smooth that you're standing there like, oh, that's it. They didn't even act hard or whatever. Because of, you know, again, the individual who has the right energy interact with these colonists or other nationals, and their experience is going to be the headache experience. You know what I mean? They're definitely going to either learn something from the situation, or it's going to blow off so easy that should inspire them to take this thing a lot more serious than they have been taking it, even though they've been taking it serious.
And the tax exempt status you enforce via word of mouth, or do you have something that you present to them when you proclaim your tax exempt in like stores or something?
Depends. It's either gonna be nationality card, or it's gonna be, you know, I'm not taxable, like, you know, whatever. You might not have the card on you, but we got the number off the top or whatever. So you just let them know the number, you know, or whatever. You just turn the screen there, you just push that button right there, put the number in, and you'll see the. Well, I can't, you know, okay, don't worry, get the manager. They'll be glad to do it. You know what I mean? And the other thing with the taxes thing is not getting too caught up in trying to teach them something or whatever there. Remember, they're at work. So, you know, especially if there's a line and all that type of stuff. There's stuff, bam, bam, leave them a card, flyer, or something like that. They could call you later if they really want to know what's up. Right. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know if I answered all your questions.
Yeah.
All right. And any more? Or peace?
Peace. I appreciate you.
All right, more peace.
Anybody else? No questions? Yeah.
No, they got questions.
I'll ask one. I have one. How has more science affected your family? Has it brought your family closer together, or what is the result?
Hold on. Sorry, more. Hold on one sec. Yeah, I'm just leaving you on right now. I just had you on speaker by accident. All right. Yeah, we're on there now. Yeah, yo, I'm with Rise of the Mars right now. Yeah. Brother Yusuf said there's a lot more.
Peace.
All right, boy. But yeah, I'm here. Yo, you're live, Jamal?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, yeah,
still
right
rolling?
now. Yeah. All right, man. It's all good. It's not more. Yeah, more. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I asked, how was more science brought your family together, or did it?
Um, Let me see. Well, from the immediate family perspective, actually, we could go into some of this. Let's see if I find this thing here. Y'all can see that?
Yep.
All right. So
Wow.
this right here, this is this top picture right here saying Canaan, Canaan. This is in Alubera and Caribe, Trinidad and Tobago. This is our ancestry. When I was there last June, when I was there, um, I found out some more things relative to our people, as far as our family. The McCletchy name is on a few street signs out there. Now, everybody has this thing about, the European name is a slave name and all that stuff. But then when you use your common sense, you have to ask yourself, why would a slave have and not just one street, but multiple streets with their name on it, right? Um, we come to find out that great great granddad was a big landowner on the island. So anytime he got land, he portioned it off for the family. So like my out there, he has his acres. My dad has his acres. The More McCletchy Trail, this one on the bottom, this is my youngest uncle's plot. This plot is like on the right of these poles right here. There's a plot of land right there that's just his. And then this street sign is on that intersection, right? Um, so when we started talking about being Moors and all that stuff, the first thing was everybody thinking that I'm a Mason because of fezzes and all that. So some of those people came out in the fact who were Mason. And I didn't know you were a Mason and all that stuff. Like, well, I'm not a Mason. And then they realized they just gave up the secret. Those people stopped, really dealing with having conversations and stuff like that because now I know where they're at, right? From my father's side, he just built his house and all that. He said, forget this. When I retire, I'm going back home building my house because I have my plot of land that I got from great granddad. So he built his house and all, and where he lives, no streets. So he had to put up his own street sign and find out where it is that he lives or whatever, because the land wasn't being eaten, it was just part of land. So he put his own street signs and all that. Or that's really Aboriginal and Indigenous culture. Like if you're going to put up your own sign and then the so-called government is going to recognize that the sign that you put up is legit because you put it there, then you know that it's real, right? John Demore, there's a near Canaan, Reef, and the street in Book Reef. So it's obvious that there's a connection to Moors. It's obvious that it's divine intervention that I'm saying that I'm Moor. But then when we used to live on the island, we used to go to Canaan and all that, and it didn't even register. You know what I mean? More McCletchy Trail, been there since we were children. Nothing registered. Street signs and all that stuff with our name on it. It wasn't even a thing that we really paid attention to. Well, as soon as more science kicked in, all this stuff starts making sense. You know, it allowed me and my mom to get closer because being that she loves Jesus and Quran is the Jesus book, you know, when I presented that to her, that kind of made her realize that, oh, that I love Jesus too or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not about go to church and whatever like that. It's about the lessons or whatever. So she has her Quran and all that. You know, she reads it whenever she reads it. She doesn't say that she's a Moor or anything like that. But I know that, you know, when she's ready to make those big purchases, she's going to call me to get her taxes off. Right? And when the phone rings, you know, she answers Kudjo because that's what shows up on the phone. Which again, you know, because of more science, went to the phone company, got the stuff changed over and all that stuff. Was no big issue. It used to, and I'm telling her I'm more, and then she got the phone and she's like, "But this never used to show up on the phone before." But more science temple and Kudjo L and all that stuff. Like, how did you, like, what do you mean they changed it? How did they just change it? Because they're a corporation. All they want to do is make sure they get their finance. They don't care what name you got on the thing. But the fact that they changed it, you know, to the layman mind, you know, it was a big deal to see that it was changed. You know, when I showed you the transcript for the tickets, one of the things that happened with that was after they pulled me over, they gave me all that. They said that they're impounded. And we're gonna take your car and all that type of stuff. Call the tow truck people or whatever, unscrew the plates, took the stuff off, put the stuff on the tow truck, and I got a call from my mom. Hey, I thought you left. Where? Oh, I'm just out or whatever. I got pulled over or whatever like that. Blah blah. Telling her story, and she told me that the car's in the driveway. You know what I mean? After I told her, this is after she told me that the car's in the driveway. So I was telling her the story about the tickets and, you know this, know that, you know what I mean? I think they're attacking me because I'm a Moor or whatever like that. She's like, yeah, maybe, you know, because the car's in the driveway. Like, the car's in the driveway. What do you mean the car's in the driveway? Right? So that was another thing that let her, something's interestingly wrong here. Because, you know, everybody knows black people who got pulled over and their stuff is probably still in the impound right now. You know? So it's it hasn't been negative, I'll say that, as far as my family's concerned. You know, like me and my dad could have more conversations now because there's more stuff to talk about, you know? Especially, you know, with him being of the position of, you know, being self-sufficient, you know, build his own house, like build his house from scratch, like he was in a tent before he built his house, and then he built the house on the tent, and he has a two-level house with water, electrical running, and all. You know what I mean? He used his connections, people who he knew come do electrical. Who he knew come do the whatever. He has a boy that comes in the landscaping and all that type of stuff. You know, he got fruit in the land, you know, garden, you know, a lot or a little bit more discussion There was no negative as far as my family's concerned with regard to that.
That's great.
Right?
Anyone else got a question? Anyone else?
Good morning, Brother RJ, Bay.
More peace.
Peace. I'm fairly new, you know what I mean? I did all of my paperwork and everything, and beforehand, like I knew about the Moors this year, but I didn't just jump into it. I did my own due diligence, read, research, history, and then
Right.
I understand, but beforehand, you know, like I was in Cisco that I was studying common law, commercial law, and this year that the situations, you know, about the statutes, about the law and everything, I didn't know, like I didn't understand, but I knew what I was reading because I was reading a Black's Law Dictionary or whatever the case may be. But my question is, how do I go about, because there's a lot of other brothers that's in my area, because I'm in the territory of New Jersey, and they was curious on how I did it, but I don't know how to go about explaining, you know, because people are stuck, they not deprogrammed or whatever. So I want to know how about to where so that I can educate other brothers and let them know about their history and let them know how the about the Moors and everything. Like I tell them, but they not, you know, they still programmed with the European statutes and their policies and everything.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about coming into this is that it's something, you know, deep and so far off or whatever, when it's real point blank simple, right? When we go to let me just go back to this PowerPoint. When we use the lessons that were given to us, you know, the thing go. When we use the lessons that were given to us by Noble Drew Ali, it definitely makes it easier to relay the message, because once we're talking about Noble Drew Ali, we're talking about 100 years ago, where majority of people weren't even around. But one of the things that stands out is that everybody is on this info. So for example, you could bring up Nas' new album to them. They think this is not real, right? They're gonna say he's the best and all that stuff, and they're gonna put out there that, you know, he's who he is, right? But when you go to, how come this thing is not sharing? Y'all seeing the thing right now? Or are you seeing me still?
On the street signs.
All right, one sec. What you see about?
The street signs still.
Still?
Yes.
And they're playing around with this thing. Oh, they're playing. Hold on a sec. Oh, yes. All right, so you got me now, right?
Yeah.
Let's try this again. Anything changing?
Yeah.
You're changing? What the hell is it? Well, basically, if you go to the, let me try it this way. Hold on, one more time. All right, so I got to do it this way then. All right. So this is the merchandise for Nas's new album, right? The Nasir album. If they think it's not real, then how come he has this stuff on his merchandise? And he has everything. He has pyramid, crescent star, circle 7, handshake, eye of Allah, and all of that. Right? Some of these things are directly from the nationality card. They can't see this, and then keep in mind right now how much airplay this album is getting. How many people are talking about it? Are they even talking about it? And if they're not, why not? Because that's not. They're not. Why is this quiet? People aren't receptive. Like you said, realize that these people are in the sauce, and you probably don't want to be taking a bowl of that sauce these people are in. And sometimes they just have to learn on their own. Because as a fan, I don't need any more than this to know that I better get out my nationality and birthrights. Right? Like there's nothing that anybody can tell about the Moors or this and that and enslaving people and whatever. I'm not going for none of that. If Nas is repping that as hard as he's repping. That the merchandise for the album, he went on the album saying that he's a Moor and all of that. You know? So again, it's very simple. We're not Negro black color people. We're not Africans. We're not whatever. We're Moors. That alone should have them say, "Oh, Moors, what's that?" That should be the next. You know what I mean? And then once they go there, then they go into their own study. And if they're serious, they're gonna take this thing and run with it. If they're not really that serious, you know that many are called, chosen are few, and you're probably dealing with many called. So don't even lose yourself if they're not listening. And I've been giving them stuff, and I've been showing them videos, and I've been whatever. This is probably not for them. But being that you are in Jersey, make sure you check out moorishguidepost.org and try to connect with Grand Sheik Nature, who's in Asbury Park.
Okay.
Right? And they've been doing their activity. I think 2001 or something like that. They've been out there. Involve yourself so much in trying to convince them. Because I remember that when we look at this metaphysical, there's also vampires out there who they don't care about learning. All they want to do is be able to say that, oh yeah, this more I'd be on the phone for 2 hours, and then you ain't hear from them ever again. They got their 2-hour lunch. They're good. You know what Any other questions?
You can go next.
Islam, how you doing, brother?
Please, more.
So my question is, let me give you a little background. So 6 months ago, I came into this information, and when I came into this information, I was in community college with plans to go to a four-year university. What would you say about Moors who are young and are in these types of institutions? Should they continue to stay in these institutions? Should they expatriate from them? What is your opinion?
Go to go to Noble Drew Ali's oral statements. He's told the Moors that get a good European education and he could use you. When we look at when they say quote unquote off the grid, get into this information and everything off because we're sovereign and we're whatever.
Yeah.
Well, when we cut everything off, we ain't got nobody to deal with our sanitation and all that type of stuff. We don't got anybody to deal with the things that need to get dealt with. So, the younger generation has to be ones to have foresight, to see, like, especially with the Moorish mindset. Like, if you look at every other prosperous nation, they don't only go to their European school.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And them going to the European school is to extract whatever information that they can get to bring it back to their nation. That's how they, right? So, like for example, out here, when you go out there and you check who's on parole, all that stuff, you're seeing Hindu names on there, Chinese names on there, Korean names on, Japanese names on there. When it's lunchtime, you're seeing them sitting there, and they're doing their homework. Whereas, the Asiatics, or quote unquote black rose color, or whatever like that, they're going to do some BS college. When the term hits, all these so-called other nationals, they got 80%, 90%. They're mad because they only got 90. They're upset with themselves because they have to take a 90% home to their parents who said they got 90. Right? So, look at it as learning. Look at it as we're the founders of schools. So we should be in those institutions. We should be doing the best in those institutions since we're the ones that inspired them.
So my next question would be, should I go into the next institution with my free national name, or should I use my straw name that I've been using unconsciously?
If the stat is that if you're proclaiming that you're a national,
Yeah.
then in order for those people to really deal with you like that, you're gonna have the documentation that they expect with your free national name on,
Okay.
right? For example, Mr. Khalifa is an example of that, right? That when she came into the information, that process was available, that you can actually get your free national name on the corporate documents, right? In this time, we do put them on notice because of the activity they're trying to stop, because they realize that if more start getting their free national name on all these documents, then these people are done for. But they can't have that happen,
That's true.
right? Because with having individuals that have the constitutional civic mindset with these patients. These people give them, like the colonists and the Inquisitionists, if they're giving them documentation, they're letting them to put their free national name on it and stuff like that. These people know that they're going to be over. It's like with, again, using Sister Khalifa, like the influence that she has on her students in that she's big. And they recognize that, hold on a second, like you're black, but you don't have a name like other black. You know what I mean? And them being inspired to do more, to find out more, to study or like that. It's a given that change is going to happen in favor of the Moors. Another example is Brother Abdullah, you know, who again used to do the same thing, worked at school, but eventually they were like, nah, we can't even deal with you like that. We can't even deal with you like that because the influence that you're having is causing people to pass. And failure is what makes finance for those institutions. You know what I mean? Having people continually going through those doors, masters and leave. So you can look at it like we all look at it from the perspective of pick your battles. So if you are really interested in going and you want the heartache and the headache, you know, that maybe deny you or whatever like that, then you use that straw name, right? Never admit that it's you. You're always using it under threat. You're always using it as you're forced to use it and preserve your rights on whatever contract is that they present to you. If it's admissions contract, all rights reserved, and then you sign over all rights reserved. If they got problems with that, they always bring up, well, who reserve their right? There's no problem with them. And you know, you guys have a logo right there. Also take your logo and go put it on a shirt like that. You guys will sue me because you have rights reserved. You know what I mean? Protect their property. You know what I mean? And as far as the free national aspect of it, you get your paperwork done, you put the exercise as that. And when you fill out your form, you're putting your free national name on. They're asking you for SIN number, you know, NA, not applicable. They're asking you for anything that has to do with them pulling you into the drip through certain instruments that they demand. It's just not applicable because I'm not part of you guys' corpse. Then again, you're going back to the idea of because I am Aboriginal and Indigenous, state, you have an obligation to let me get an education. You can't deny that because I'm saying you're more all of a sudden. Because I'm a Moor, you don't want to put me up in the actions. You know, like it's not supposed to work like that. But again, it goes back to that thing of the people. Passivity is what makes the Inquisitionist policies continue. And also look at it from the perspective of there's a lot of Moors who we know that they taught themselves. They didn't go to these people's school. Oh, you know what the curriculum is or whatever like that. You know all the books that you need to get. You know, it's not like they don't give goods. Like they give it up. The issue is that people think that, you know, quote unquote, diploma is what them. But then if you look at diploma, a diploma is a rolled up piece of paper. Like that's it. You know what I mean? Like the version of diploma is rolled up paper. Not anything. That's why they always do the rolled up piece of paper when you go across the stage. That's the diploma, not the thing that you have on the wall saying that you're qualified to whatever. That's not the diploma. So, um, you know, again, with of your battle, that if you're doing this information, then you want to tread lightly, or you won't play around. Right? Keep talking.
Could you say that again? I didn't hear you.
They, they don't deal with test driving. This isn't trial and error. This is either you're doing what you know or don't do it. You know what I mean? If you once you know, then you can apply. If you don't know, don't try to apply what you don't know, because you're really not applying really. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in the institution right now and you already put some time in, being that you're in there, all you're doing is changing your mindset. Everything else stays the same. You know what I mean? Because you're not gonna be successful you rocking your boat, because all they're gonna do is just make you walk the plank. Because that's what you know. That's basically mutiny. Because you're on their ship, you know, quote unquote school. You know, it's like the more that was in university, you know, taking classes or whatever like that. It came from the Moors. What is that? Like, well, yo, hey, professor, like, how come it's so short on the Moors? You know, there's more history, and you're talking about, you know, 3 pages and teacher left the podium, came up to me personally, like, you can't interrupt my class right now. Right? I have a curriculum, and I have to provide a curriculum or whatever. But you know, after class, you know, come talk to me or whatever like that. So, uh, class was done, and they're about to leave. They got the next class. Teacher's like, no, don't worry about that other class or whatever like that. Come on to my office. I'll give you a letter and all that stuff. You don't worry about that. You know what I mean? I'll call your teacher, let him know you're with me or whatever. And he's more history and all that stuff to them. Collected is more history, because people can't know that information. If people start knowing that information, then these institutions would no longer exist. This is what the professor is telling the student, but in closed doors, not on the floor of the classroom, right? So trust that they know. You know what I mean? Ivan van Sertima, right? If you heard of Ivan van Sertima, he's an individual that when he started writing about the Moors or whatever, they threatened that they're going to deport him and all that stuff. They threatened that he's going to lose his tenure because he's talking about Moors. Writing books about Moors. You can't do that. But, you know, you can't talk that type of truth and all that type of stuff. They came before Columbus. It shattered the whole paradigm of these people's doctrine of discovery or policy. Because it comes back down to the same thing that, you know, if, we are Moors and we're the Aboriginal and Indigenous people here, that we should have our own school. And we going to these people's school. But then again, you know, that's what Moorish Science Temple was. Right? The whole point of that was to teach our people the truth about their nationality and birthrights. And then that was supposed to evolve into universities, Moorish universities, Moorish high school, Moorish kindergarten, Moorish grade school, Moorish junior high school. Like, it was supposed to evolve into those things. But it didn't, again, because these Europeans already know what's up. And they know the easiest way to get the most is put them against each other. And then sit back and wait for the dust to clear. Again, which is why what's happening there. Like, that's a school right there. Saturday school, but it's because the people there are qualified to be able to relay this information to others who want this information. You know? But all in all, get that European education because it's really Moorish. Because we are all these Europeans. The Europeans didn't learn anything more. So don't let people get you in this thing about the white man's school and the white man's info and Europeans, they can't do whatever. Everything they got came from us. And going in with that mindset that, oh yeah, you guys are just giving me my stuff back. Make it easier to embrace learning and accept the fact that these people are really the keepers of our life, or our knowledge. And it's time for us to get our stuff back, calibrate it with a Moorish mind, and then do whatever it is that we're supposed to do with it for our nation, just like everybody else does. Right? So just stay on it. You know what I mean? And again, look at it from the perspective of, look at the Ashkenazi Jews, for example, right? They have their own school that they go to. They don't go to regular school like everybody else's children. They go get brainwashed or whatever. They have their own school that they go to. When they talk about French immersion and all that type of stuff, and then you have people going to a only French school, or they're going to a Catholic school, or they're going to whatever. Like, that's the same mindset we're supposed to have. But we're supposed to be doing that for the future generations to have something. It's not for us to have something. Like the work that we do in this day as Moors isn't for us. Like, we're not doing these types and all this stuff for us. I mean, this is for others who are coming up later to have some type of reference points for them to find their way in this darkness or this illusion. Right? I will answer your question. If you have any more, feel free to shoot it out, or if you're not clear about something.
No, that was the only question I have. Thank you. Islam.
Islam, stay strong, bro.
Thank you. You too.
I think people don't think that you're limited to one question. We got some time, so bring whatever you got right now. Peace, more.
Peace. Very quick question. Since we are in a civic group and there's all civic groups all around the country, what would be a good idea as far as a group for us to do in the next coming months to be active as far as showing our alliance and doing something as far as showing our presence?
I have the same question.
Since let's say we're 20 people here, 22 people here, how can we go to, let's say, New York and help them as far as, let's say, to go to their state house, and then if they're trying to put someone on notice, can we support them to show a body of Moors getting issues dealt with?
I think a lot of it is Moors really clamping down their own jurisdictions first. So, like if like for example with let's say movie night, some black event or whatever, outreach, feed the hungry, clothe the hungry, humanitarian activities, let's say. Those group of Moors taking the position of doing things together where they're at. Right? So if there's somebody hears that there's let's say there's coming up or something like that, all the more go to that thing. All the more have some type of flyers or whatever like that, information that they can pass to other people. Because remember, the most civic thing you can do is be humanitarian. This is why he told more is uplifting flawed humanity. But we're the ones the Moors are the ones that have the knowledge. Other people can make whatever claims that they want, but the real deal is that the Moors are the ones with the info that's gonna save people out here. Everybody else is pacifying them. Everybody else is put a press in their mouth so they can stop crying.
For
But
example, halfway home or something like that, let's say they had like drug charges or anything minor.
Have situations that involve jail and things like that. Those people are more civic minded. The brothers coming out, you know that the prosecutor railroaded them. They know that their own lawyer railroaded them. They know that judge railroaded them. They know that, you know, CEOs and everybody else is running a fraud or whatever. They just don't know what to do about it, right? Which is where, you know, the body of Moors doing things comes in, so that you have somebody who's at, like, for example, there's a Moor that we know out here that he got caught up in some BS. He's right now, he did what he thought based on the information that he was finding out. He got off of the waiting list of to being sent to because of the activity that he was doing for himself in there. This is behind the lines then, right? It wasn't us that did anything. All we did was give him the info. He took the info. What we presented to him was all the international UN documents, the declarations and stuff like that. And he started going down the list. Like, hold on a second. Well, how come you guys don't acknowledge this and this and this and this and this or whatever like that? Go into the chat and complain to the chat about not being able to have the interest right to have whatever. Chat call it. Yo, so this whatever like that. You're the one that's gonna, like, you know what I mean? And so the support factor from Moors is really what those people need. They don't need to proclaim their nationality or you know, go through the process or whatever if they're still going through the ringer. You know what I mean? You wanna be in a position that when you say I'm declaring my nationality, you don't have any stuff behind you that's gonna try to pull you back into the jurisdiction. He even told the Moors, all old as it is, all new business, do it in your free national name. So the things that Moors have to do is open up their heart so that love can shine, and then learn to love instead of hate. But that being something that we do, not something that we say. You know what I mean? Learning to love instead of hate. Moors come together and they make a big pot of soup on the winter, and they're sitting out there in the -40 with the other homeless people, and they're giving out soup for 2 hours. That would have more of an effect on the activity that you're going to do later than Moors the court trying to swing people into, yeah, let's help you get you out of your charges because we're Moors and you can't do, and they should be doing this, whatever, talking to people who they care less about what it is to be Moors. They just want to get out their ticket, or they just want to get out their IRS, whatever. And those people are not people that you want in your core group or who are supposed to be for uplifting our people. Because when you get what they want, trust me, they're out of here. Seen it happen numerous occasions. As soon as you help them, they don't need you anymore until they get their ass in something again, and now they're coming to you again. And then Moore's taking the, oh yeah, well, love instead of hate, so come on, help you again. No. Because where were we for the past 6 months after we helped you the first time? You know what I mean? The fact that you got off your stuff should have been enough for the individual to hang around for a little bit. You know what I mean? So just like I was telling the brother before, like, you know, you want to, it's a very high energy time as far as knowing information, getting information. And people go to any website and find stuff out, and go on any YouTube channel and find stuff out. All good, it's learning. But the reality of this information is that it only works for you if you're working it yourself. If you have 20 Moors, only 10 of those Moors are really doing some information, and the other 10, they're just dead weight. And you'll see the stagnancy. Because it's going to be extremely hard to be able to convince people all these wars had some type of information and they went through it themselves. You know what I mean? They didn't call somebody, oh yeah, I got information, help me, whatever, I this, I that. They went, they studied, they applied what it is that they studied, and got themselves a situation. That's where it's supposed to be. Because as soon as you start getting into the babysitting people and all that, then that's what you're going to create. People who want stuff done for them. Who they want to plant flowers, but they want you to go in the dirt, dig the hole. They just want to flower. No, you go on your knees, you get your hand dirty. You get your back spasming and stuff like that from laying down flowers for the past 2 hours. You know what I mean? But again, the same thing, more who are on the same mindset, being together and doing things together, no matter what it is. Go to a movie together. Go to dinner together. It doesn't always have to be, we're going to some court, or we're going to some Moors and get recognized. No, you can feed the hungry and get recognized as Moors. You know what I mean? The Moors, the botanical gardens together, and just be walking around. You don't have to say anything to anybody, and just look at the atmosphere around you when Moors are there. You know what I mean? Even with other Jamals and them doing certain things of, you know, they say, okay, we're gonna go to City Hall one day. Where they meet up and City Hall, the amount of stuff that's happening in between before they get to City Hall, they might not even make it to City Hall. The amount of people that they're bumping into that's stopping them, it might take them hours to get to City Hall. You know what I mean? And these are the things that you know, because remember that Allah guides this. So there's higher forces, there's higher energies that are looking at what we're doing, not just these people out here. You know what I mean? Ancestors are looking at what we're doing. So once we're doing things, you know, according to the principles, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice are, then we should be straight. It really shouldn't be an issue. As soon as that there's issues, just recognize that, okay, maybe we're lacking in living by the principles. We need to reevaluate how, you know what I mean, we're doing certain things. Right?
Thank you.
Got more.
Thank you.
You have any more questions, or you're straight?
Good, thank you.
All right. Because I mean, I know that. I know that as far as the with regard to this information, everybody's always waiting for the, you know, the Eureka information that, oh yeah, there ain't nothing like that. This stuff is real simple. This stuff is based in common sense. Like once common sense is active in you, then this stuff should work. Shouldn't even be any issues. You know what I mean? It was like I don't know if it's online or whatever, but there was a lecture that Bobby Hemmett did with the Nuwapians back in the day, and it was like 4 hours or something like that. You know what I mean? And he's talking, he's going through the lecture, blah blah, and every little while somebody would put their hand up, you know, and all right, so like, you know, so when are we gonna get the real information? You know, and then go into something, and then yeah, so when are we gonna get actually stop? He's like, what? Like, what do you guys mean? You guys teachers are like what? Like, what more do you know who your master teacher is? If you're looking at me to give you something that Dr. York never gave you, then why are you even following him? You know what I mean? So look at it simple. It's very simple. You know, don't look for the Eureka moment stuff. Just take the information for what it is. And once you use your common sense and this thing activates, then it's gonna take off, guaranteed. Islam says.
Islam. So our group here, we've been getting together to support each other in matters and also on a personal level, just hanging out. Do you think as a community should do a tort claim instead of dealing with individuals' problems, deal as a group in district court? Do you think, in your opinion, would that be more effective to help handle issues in this area?
All the individuals who have something should be able to say, here's our transcripts. Right? And then all those people would try, because if you're gonna file any tort claim, you need transcripts.
Yeah.
So that should be the first thing. Who has transcripts?
Jamal actually keeps a record of all the issues that we're dealing with, and we have transcripts of every issue, so that we can eventually work on a tort claim together.
Right.
And use that as an anchor for mores in other areas. To
Right,
deal
but
with their issues.
don't even look at it just like we were saying earlier. Look at it as galvanizing your area. You know, making it so that mores in your area are, you know, directly affected in a positive manner by that activity. A good example is the mores with Brother Kenneth L. in near Virginia Corporation. Like, those mores have governor calling them to come meet. No tort claims filed. This is just on their activity, because they're in the schools, because they're, you know, they're going to Senate and stuff like that, to sit in, just be there, just their presence alone has bent over backwards working with them without any tort claims or whatever. So you also have to look at the activity of the individuals that are in these situations. So if we're trying to build tort claims based on transcripts of people who are smell like weed and they got tickets, probably not gonna get too far.
Yeah.
You know, not that, you know, I mean, you know, it's legal now and you can go to the shop and get the stuff and all that stuff, you know, but again, you know, what's the basis of the claim? If the claim is based on people doing whatever and then they get their ass kicked, then, well, you know, maybe you shouldn't have been doing whatever. You wouldn't have got your ass kicked. But talking about people getting violated for standing up for their right.
Yeah.
In the most pristine sense of standing up for the right. Those are the ones that you would, you fine tooth comb everybody's issue, and the issues that really have a position with regard to prostitution, with regard to rights violations, then those are the ones that you use. And then the people who aren't on that list, they should be back, and it's still 100.
Yeah.
People are going to get in their emotional thing. Well, my situation should be on the list because I got. Well, maybe you needed to get punched in. Really in violation because you said a prayer before you went out to do whatever you were doing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's something that's always talked about. I think it's a good idea. The Moors here, we have a lot of Moors with right to travel issues. Here taking a position like, you guys aren't telling me anything because I've been to court. You guys dismissed the stuff. So what do you mean you're giving me another ticket?
Yeah.
That you're gonna dismiss? What's going on here? You know what I mean? So we have like out here we set up committees. As far as the temple, different committees, and once you're a member of the temple, you have to be on some type of committee. And one of our committees is the jurisprudence committee, and they're looking at getting all these people's transcripts together. Going through everything, and eventually putting in some type of claim against them for violating the morals, not like what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's just making sure that the cases that are selected to be the individuals that are selected, that they also don't have other pending things that are going on that could compromise the suit. I mean, because that's also it's no different than how they say when they're gonna go pull up, like how they did with Umar Johnson or whatever. They're gonna say, oh yeah, you can't do whatever like that, or you can't do this, you can't do that, and then they're gonna go pull up some video from 5 years ago with this guy waving a gun or whatever to say, oh yeah, well look at what type of person he is or whatever.
Yeah.
The people whose names are going down on that suit, their stuff better be tight. You know what I mean? You don't want to have them to be able to go check somebody's past whatever and pull up stuff to make it look like you're just trying to get out of something. This should be based in rights being violated and those rights being, or that suit being filed so that those rights could be given back to the people.
Okay.
Right?
Um,
But it's something that Moors that are in jurisdictions that are active and that are competent, that they should be doing, especially when you're dealing with things like certain states that are origins lie in the 13 colonies that know what's up. They know that they're corporate. They know that they don't really have jurisdiction in Aboriginal Indigenous affairs, and if they are taking that position. Sorry to cut you. You had another question?
So our group is currently trying to form amongst ourselves so that we can do more work. Is there any advice that you could bring from your groups? Something that maybe you wish you would have thought of earlier, or that was very much needed that we should be thinking of? Yeah, or something that would be effective for us.
I think the main thing is just, everybody who is affiliated being on the same mindset. Like nothing trumps Moors being on the same mindset as a body.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're using the Moors in Mecca that we came up under as an example. That the Muftis had their day when their classes were going on. The health people had their day when their classes were going on. The jurisprudence people had their day when their classes were going on. The Sunday school had a day. The children had a day where they're doing their stuff. The mothers or the women's auxiliary had a day where they were doing whatever. There was no cross contamination. You know what I mean? Everybody was doing what it is that they're supposed to do as far as their skill set. You know what I mean? There was, for example, there was one more who did the art for everything. Anybody need art anything? That's the more. We're not going to anybody else to get our art stuff done when we have more right here. Well, backed up 20 people. Well, then you're number 21. So you're not going to take the energy and put it somewhere else and then to bring it back. You're going to keep the energy right here. Again, doing things together that aren't what we would say the protocol. You know what I mean? Go to movies together. Go to dinner together. Just go in a park and sit there together for a couple hours. Just shoot the BS. I mean, it doesn't have to be that we are always out here trying to sue somebody. We are always out here trying to fight a ticket. We are out here trying. No, like we can, you know, like we want to do well, not want to. We're going to be doing a women's appreciation dinner, right? As far as our temple, right? We recognize that the women neglected or whatever. So, you know, we're gonna have a day where the women go out and go do whatever. Do your nails, do your feet, do your hair, whatever you want to do, go do whatever. Bring the children to the temple. You're gonna babysit for the day. Go do whatever. After you're done doing whatever, or back to wherever we decide, and then we're gonna give you all a dinner. So you could sit down and you could eat some food and you could be served and you could be treated like how you should be treated as the matriarchs. It's gonna be only one day for now, but eventually, you know, it's gonna be a routine that we do just because we figure, you know, why not give them honors and why wouldn't others want the honors, you know? So that's an aspect that I would have wished we did early on. You know what I mean? All the women that came in, put them in a corner and tell them, you guys need to do some stuff. Just the women. No men doesn't need any input or anything like that because we came from you. Right? So you taking the reins. You be the ones to say, well, you know what? We think that, you know, the flag should go a little bit higher, or, you know, we should get some more color in here, or we should whatever. Just the women's frequency. I mean, because that definitely adds something. You know what I mean? Especially when the women know that what they're doing is not just for themselves, but it's going to help the sons and it's going to help the children, and people are going to be, the energy is going to change just because of these things that quote unquote the women are doing. And again, you do research on the women's auxiliary and you see the amount of stuff that they were doing, just them, like not grand sheiks involved and they're putting their nose in it or whatever like that. This is just women only. You know what I mean? You can see why, you know, Dwali had the sister on the cover holding her. You can see why he always said, oh yeah, I have a greater respect for womanhood. Where he made it a point that, you know, the matriarchal position is really the most powerful position in this. Fezzes are matriarchal. Turks are matriarchal. Quran is feminine. You know, like there's all these things that have this feminine energy to it that doesn't get the attention that it deserves, being that it's that, you know. But yeah, I think that's the main thing, getting women more involved and making sure that everybody mindset. And those who aren't on that mindset, they're either on the come up to that mindset, or they're not involved, because you don't need baggage. You don't need stagnancy. You don't need, weights on your ankles in water. It's not benefiting at all. Right?
Thank you.
Islam.
Islam.
Anybody else? Nobody?
You have a question? You've been answering.
No questions at all. I'm sure Paul's got a great question.
So no questions.
He, I don't want to say your name, but because we're on live.
You have another question?
Well, he kind of took my question, but it was outside of our own personal studies and being together as a group. What could we do? Like, what, in his opinion, what could we do to strengthen our team and our nation building here?
Continue to do what we're doing.
Yeah. They-
I mean, ultimately that, just doing what the soul dictates. And again, once it's in harmony with principles, once it's in harmony with the lessons that were laid down, there shouldn't be any issues like that. You know what I mean? Like we're saying, people get into this information, and it's the appearance is that, this is universe vast, and, oh my gosh, like, how are we gonna ABCD, and how are we gonna this and that or whatever? But everything's already been done. Like, Noble Ali laid the groundwork for what we're supposed to do. You know what I mean? There's Moors right now in Japan that know that they're Moors. There's Moors in Switzerland that know that they're Moors. There's Moors in UK, Europe, whatever. There's Moors that are on the native reserves that are coming into this information, knowing that they're not Indians. They're not under the of Indian affairs and all that type of stuff. And you can't tell me that I have to do whatever. And all of that is happening because of the work that the true Moors, the faithful Moors, the ones that have been doing that are affecting the ethers. Remember, our work that we do as Moors is mystic work. You know what I mean? This is why, again, let me pull up another one of these things. This is why there's this one that everybody hates. Everybody hates this one.
Yep.
Right? Professor Drew, the Egyptian adept student. One, he's letting you know that I am a Muslim. He's Muslim, how is he Egyptian? Apparently, Muslims don't come from Egypt. That's not that school of thought. He's an adept student. How is he an adept and a student? And what message is he saying to people who claim that they're adepts? You know what I mean? Right? He's putting things in its proper perspective. And again, all these things are relative to what it is that we can do. So how can we strengthen? We can strengthen by recognizing that, hey, if this man's an adept student, and I have the secret of destroying the germs of tuberculosis and cancer of the lungs in 10 to 30 days, how did he die of tuberculosis? How did he die of pneumonia? How did he, the guy who can cure the stuff that he can claim he can cure, and there's no questions. There's no looking at people funny who claim that they were the signer of the death certificate for Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff. How are you signing the death certificate of Noble Drew Ali and then it's saying that he died of some disease that's on the list that he said he had the cure for in the 1900s, early 1900s. 2-3 days, you're going to be cured of anything that you weren't born with. It's very obvious that people stop doing what they're supposed to do and stop teaching what they're supposed to teach for whatever it was that why certain questions are understandable. But we should be farther along than we are. It shouldn't be where it is right now. No way it's supposed to be where it is right now. It's supposed to be way past this. But the fact that we're here, lets us know how much work that we can do. Lets us know why it's important that we do the work that we do, regardless of the highest level of activity. Everything that Moors do has a direct effect on others. They're especially of wanting to know more or be more or get with people who are doing more. Like for example, with regard to what that we do. Like we know that we're doing certain activity out here, right? And this is from the horse's mouth. Brother Samir been up there for the past week or whatever. Now, he met with people out here who I know personally. They're telling him that they never heard about Morris. They're telling him, oh yeah, come teach our youth and all that stuff or whatever like that. Come talk to this guy. Come to this place. And he's looking at it like, oh wow, it's a lot of activity going on here. People want to know about it. They don't want to know about that. They're riding coattails. Because we've been out here. Before we were talking about Moorish whatever, we were out here doing this same work. It just wasn't called Moorish. Right? We had access to buildings. You know what I mean? Like we're talking buildings, 2-floor, 3-floor. You know what I mean? 500 people lecture hall type buildings. Right? When we were Negro, black, colored, conscious, we had that. You know what I mean? We had like Professor Griff here. Right now, he's kicking your Cohen's ass with fact right now. We had those people out here. We had Black Dada out here. Amahaya Wasa Kamene, Booker T. Coleman. You name them. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as you start saying Moors, well, everything cut off. No more support. Or support's very limited, or support shiesty. That's not really the same how it was. Like, trust me, black guy, I used to get checks. Black stuff. Whether it was school, community group, whatever. People would link me regular. Regular. As soon as we start talking about Morons, all of a sudden, nah. These guys are with the slavers now, and they don't want to know about Moors, but they're telling Sabir come talk to their youth group when they know Moors. It's not like they needed Sabir to be here or whatever. They could link me on the phone directly. I had the same number since 2001. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing changed, but those people's perspective. Because we're still doing what it is that we've been doing. It ain't nothing different. It's just saying that we're Moors now. You know what I mean? But that's not going to deter us from doing what it is that we're doing, because we already know that this isn't for everybody. Like I said, if I know Moors reach out to me from China, that they know that they're Moors and they're in China, and they're telling me about, you know what, thanks for your classes and whatever, because yeah, everybody knows that we're Moors. There's L's and B's, and if that's a fact, then nobody can tell me anything about you can't be, this is not what we're supposed to be on. You know what I mean? If we're going to, just like we say, you go to whatever together as Moors, and you got nationals stop on their trips or whatever, pull out their phone, they want to take pictures to send back home and all that type of stuff for people. You think it's not real? It's not where people need to be immediately, as far as our people that classify themselves as Negro, black, colored, immediately they need to be here. And if they don't want to be here, it's cool. You know what I mean? It's not, it is what it is. But trust that when the skies open up and the blessings start showering on the Moors, don't think you can slide in then and get your blessings, because your dues would have had to be paid in order for the ancestors to look out for you. It's like this sister that used to do that we know that used to go into trance or whatever like that, and she was into the voodoo, and she used to go into trance as Olokun, right? So she would go into trance, just not set up anything. Olokun would just jump in her, right? She'll take off her shirt or whatever like that. It doesn't matter. You'd be on the street, whatever like that. When spirit takes her, it is what it is, right? Take off her shirt, tie it around her waist or whatever like that. You know, something that's gonna be her machete or whatever. Find something to sit on, that's gonna be her Ashanti stool, and you know that that's not the sister who was just here with her clothes on or whatever. We know that this is something different going on. You know what I mean? And she, laying it down, laying it down, laying it down. You know what? Don't even waste your time with your people. Don't waste your time. Ancestors already abandoned them. Ancestors don't even just look at the condition. As we always say, just look at the conditions of the people. Do they look like they have ancestors? Look at what they're going through. Do they look like they're protected by somebody? Don't even waste your time. You know what I mean? Focus on the ones who want this. Focus on the ones that you can have an influence on, which that's the children and the ones who are already on this. Anybody else? They're not, and it is, you know, being gone up the black and the African, whatever, into the physical, and then coming into the moral science. Having the experience of knowing that, yeah, there's actually a realm that ancestors are on that relates with this realm, this physical realm. And ancestors will be coming here through people, through things, through whatever, to stress the point that, you know what, you're on the right path. Don't deviate from the path. Don't think that you have some brilliant whatever that's going to work, that the ancestors aren't backing. If the ancestors aren't backing it, trust me, it's going to fail. Guaranteed. Seen it happen, right? Even with the last picture that we put up, moresociety.com, right? We'll look them up. Messed with the ancestors, because these individuals had this brilliant idea of, let's have a website where we have Moorish information on there. Imagery. But every image, every single image, they had their little Moorish society, whatever, across the image. They ain't honoring no ancestors. How you putting your logo and stuff across the image that people are supposed to be using as their reference? You want to put yourself that bad that you couldn't find a little corner in the bottom or something like that? Every image, across every image. You just look up morissociety.com in images, and all their images, same thing. And that they got checked on. Hey, how come you guys just messing up all the images with your goddamn logo? Purpose of doing that? Oh well, we have to promote. Yeah, but you can promote on the bottom corner. Didn't want to hear nothing. Now they're not here. Website. Where are those people at? Who knows? They know where people are at. You know, same thing with you know, the wars, but wars, but do all these European processes and not realizing that, you know, if these people aren't here in 5 years, clearly they weren't moving. If they were here and disappeared, and then they have all this stuff out there now that you could just Google them and then they're gonna come up, but they're not really there. That's just the stuff that they left. Know that they were playing games with the people. They weren't really about the people knowing about the truth about this. And when we say know the truth about this, you know, this is not limited to some noble Jew and what he did. The truth about this stuff is millions of years old. We got more on hieroglyphics and all that type of stuff. This is not some new stuff we just know about yesterday. Or yeah, noble Jew Ali, and then, you know, that's where we stopped, 1913. You can't go before that because the prophet told us we're not black. There are people saying they're not black before noble Jew Ali. Saying that they're not Negro before noble Jew Ali. And that they come over here on no slave ship and all that. But he's the realest reference point. Yeah. You know. Any more questions out there?
Anybody? Well, as you were talking, I kind of. Oh, no, come on. No, good. I talk for hours every Saturday.
Yeah, say it. This is break time.
What do you say?
This is break time right now.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, trust me, I know, bro. Trust me. I know.
In your opinion, should we be pursuing group economics, Moorish businesses? What are your thoughts on that? Should we be doing them completely, you know, on our own? Or should we have to make compromises when we're being threatened?
As far as the group economic, anything that more supported, right? So if there's they got shea butter, then nobody should be getting jerkins. Right? It's not even a thought. That person should every week. I mean, again, if we use you know, like what the black guys never talk about or whatever, they're gonna bring up Black Wall Street, but they're never gonna bring up that came out of the Trail of Tears, which is indigenous culture. So this idea of, you know, the Black Wall Street and the black people circulating the money in their community, that's BS. There's no black people in Black Wall Street. These people called it, they didn't call it Black Wall Street when the term black wasn't even being used. Right? They were practicing some self-sufficiency to the extreme, and some self-determination to the extreme. That's the same stuff that Moors are trying to do today. Support their own. Stop looking at over there those guys' stuff. Don't worry about those people's stuff. What you got to bring to the table? You know what I mean? So, and then once you find those individuals who have the, with the same example, you know, bare necessities, soap and toothpaste and, you know what I mean, cream and stuff like that. There's mad Moors that do that. You know what I mean? Those Moors getting supported by Moors. Seamstresses, crazy amount of Moors. But again, it's going back to that thing with when you're talking about the compromise. A lot of these people, they got from 9 to 5, whatever. Which eliminates their time to be able to put the energy towards what they should be doing.
Yeah.
One of the big things that even we're having out here. Like, because I work at the school board, so I get summers off. And there's no feeling beats going to the Moorish institution to go work.
Yeah.
After your day's done, that you're like, God damn, like I don't even feel like I worked today. I don't feel like I just came off a slave, like how it feels when you go on the slave. Regardless of what job you do, you could be doing nothing. After those 8 hours, you're beat. You want to go home.